friends, we now enter into this 5th week of Ordinary Time, still early in the liturgical year, but we're slowly getting into the nitty-gritty of the ministry of Jesus Christ. Let's hear from this first chapter of Mark what the Lord has to say to us. And immediately Jesus left the synagogue and entered the house of Simon and Andrew with James and John. Now Simon's mother-in-law lay sick with a fever, and immediately they told him of her. And he came and took her by the hand and lifted her up, and the fever left her, and she served them. After this long day of ministry at the synagogue, the Lord goes and visits the family of some of his best friends, these first disciples, Simon and Andrew, James and John. And Simon's mother-in-law lay there sick, it says. It's important to note that as soon as Jesus got there, they told him of her. First thing we take from that is the need and the importance of our intercessory prayer. For us to pray for other people who are sick, who are suffering, who are isolated, those who need the Lord's grace. And then from there it says Jesus took her by the hand and lifted her up. The Lord always enters into our suffering to be with us. He taking by the hand is this another image of saying the Lord is taking hold of whatever we are holding on to as well. He is entering into what we are fully immersed in. So for example, the suffering of Simon's mother-in-law. The fever leaves her, she's healed, and immediately she gets up and serves them. The final point from these opening words is that the grace we receive from God is not for us to keep for ourselves, but for us to give. For us to give. This is a theme that comes up very often in this great gift of God's mercy and grace that we receive. We don't receive it for ourselves, but we receive it for the sake of others, for the sake of preaching the gospel, for the sake of the salvation of the world. Let's hear what happens next. That evening at sundown, they brought to him all who were sick or possessed with demons, and the whole city was gathered together about the door. And he healed many who were sick with various diseases and cast out many demons. And he would not permit the demons to speak because they knew him. Two beautiful details out of this second part of today's gospel. First, it says, that evening, all who were sick or possessed in the town came, and the whole city was gathered. The good news of Jesus Christ should be shared. And as a result of that, more people come to the Lord. And so we have to ask ourselves how the healing that we've received from the Lord brings other people to be healed. How the graces and mercy we've received from the Lord bring other people to the Lord's grace and mercy. So we not only share the gifts we've received, but we also bring other people to Jesus. The second part of this second section speaks of casting out these demons. Satan wants us to be confused and lost. Whenever we don't know who we are or what our mission is, we begin to die. And with Jesus, we know who we are and we know what we are called to do. This healing ministry of Jesus Christ, this salvation, a key part is helping us to know and giving us the grace to know who we are and what we've been called to do, our identity and our mission, our identity and our vocation. Let's go to this last section of the gospel. And in the morning, a great while before day, he rose and went out to a lonely place, and there he prayed. And Simon and those who were with him followed him. And they found him and said to him, "Everyone is searching for you." And he said to them, "Let us go on to the next towns, that I may preach there also, for that is why I came out." And he went throughout all Galilee, preaching in their synagogues and casting out demons. The last point I'd like to focus on in this weekend's gospel from Mark chapter 1, verses 29 through 39, is that early in the morning, it says even before day, after the Lord had done all this ministry all night long, he goes to a lonely place. He goes to a deserted place. Again, echoing this theme that we heard at the beginning of Ordinary Time, the need for silence and solitude. the need for silence and solitude. It's there that we more perfectly and more fully hear the voice of the Lord. As soon as we fulfill a mission, you could say, a project for the Lord, He always has another task for us, which requires us to continually spend time in prayer, to always, after especially those crazy moments of life, to seek out those still, small moments of prayer. And it's there that we hear the voices, Lord, so that then we can go out again to continue preaching the gospel. This weekend, Mark shares with us these great first miracles of Jesus, of healing the mother-in-law of Simon Peter, of healing countless sick and possessed individuals, and then finally reminding us of the importance of prayer. The Lord shares with us so that we can share with others. He sends us out so that we can bring others to Him. He gives us His grace so that we can share the good news. May Almighty God bless you, the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.